Hey guys, hope all of you are having a good day. It is time for some football. Excuse me. We are going to get continuing on our franchise here with our fourth game of the week. In game, not this week per se. And that is going to be the Grizzlies at the She Devils. We're going to take a look at the rosters for both in week one, and then we won't do that in the future weeks, just in the interest of time. But I want everybody to know who's on these teams, at least some of them I'm sure you've heard of. All right, so here we got the Grizzlies. We got Troy Aikman, Earl Morrell, Milt Plum. We got Barry Sanders, Lenny Moore, Ricky Waters, Freeman McNeil. Peyton Hillis is the fullback. Wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, Keyshawn Johnson. My glasses are messed up. I'm not seeing very well at the moment. James Jones, Curtis Conway, Chris Chambers. We got Dennis Pitta, Keith Jackson, Marv Cook, Tony Baselli, DeBrickashaw Ferguson, Larry Allen, Zane Beatles, Bill Linkatis. I'm going to go on a limb and say that's right. Todd McClure, Chris Snee, Randy Thomas, Joe Walter, and Larry Brown. Got a decent offensive line there, sounds like. Sean Ellis, Ben Williams, Greg Townsend, Al Harris, and Mike Bell. Dan Wilkinson, Dave Butts, Oliver Gibson, and Greg Meisner. Seth Joyner, Willie Harper, Carl Mecklenburg, and James Ferrier. Lawrence Timmons and Hugh Green. We got Charles Tillman, Tyrone Braxton, Lem Barney, Eric Wright, and Monte Jackson. Free safeties, we got Earl Thomas and Tim Fox. Strong safeties, we got Jim Kearney. Looks like he might be out for 10 weeks with an injury. Greg Wesley and Randy Logan, which they must have got hurt in preseason because he hasn't played a game in the regular season yet. All right, kickers, we got Phil Dawson, and punter, we got Reggie Roby. So we back up here and take a look at the She Devils, and then we'll get this game underway. So we got Otto Graham, Eli Manning, kind of fitting, Craig Morton, Sean Alexander, Steven Jackson, Larry Johnson, and Brandon Jacobs. Loaded a running back, aren't they? Max Strong is the fullback. Wide receivers James Lofton, Marquez Colston, Sean Jefferson, Hayward Jeffries, Anthony Miller. Tight ends, we got Antonio Gates, Tyler Eifert, and Austin Hooper. Both of these teams are loaded. Todd Stussy, Blake Brockmeyer. I'll get it at some point, right? Roger Duffy, Bob Kuchenberg. Got Alex Mack and Ray Donaldson. Marco Rivera and Ron Baker. Chris Hinton and Von Parker. And then on to the defense. We got Archambault, Lester Archambault, Tony McGee, Cliff Averill, Chris Clemens, Fred Dreyer, Geno Atkins, Rocky Bernard, Abreu Franklin, I guess that's how you say it, Ted Washington, Ricky Jackson, and I.M. Badejo, Andre Davis, and Kyle Clifton, Pat Swilling, and Barry Krause. And cornerbacks, we got Dwayne Harper, Sean Springs, Joey Browner, Jimmy Johnson, and Bobby Butler. Free safeties, we got Reggie Nelson and Bill Bradley. Strong safeties, we got Lawyer Malloy, Reggie Tongue, and Jabril Wilson. Kicker, we got Josh Brown. And the punter, we got Brian Mormon. So we'll get back over here, go play game. And off we go. Enjoy. Alright, gotta get my... No, I don't. I think we're fine.
We're just about ready to kick off another year of NFL football. Thanks for being here to enjoy today's season opening game as the visiting team square off against the home team. Both teams have taken the field and the season is about ready to get started.
Second rain game in a row here.
Roby will be kicking off.
The away team will be kicking off to start the game. Johnson back to
Roby, is the kicker hurt? They're putting the punter in to kick for.
Johnson takes this one back to the 21.
Johnson on the return.
Ball on their own 21.
Ball on the 21-yard line.
They line up in the I formation. Toss play to the left.
We got some blocks. Oh, he tripped over him. Dang. Wow. Brutal. He actually might have went the distance there if he hadn't tripped over that guy who was on the ground.
Ball on the 30-yard line.
Watch out. Watch your eyes.
The visiting team come out in a 4-3.
No,
It's a fumble.
somebody forgot to
The
block
home
him.
team. They lose the ball in the backfield but manage to recover.
That was a great play to swallow up the ball carrier and put a big hit on him like that.
Third down and long coming up
Ball
here.
on the 22-yard line.
Blue down, blue down. So we gonna take it. Let's go. Right here. Keep it up rhythm.
Under pressure, steps up into the pocket.
He's had a tough time making reads when the defense mixes up their zone. What you want to do is look to the middle of the
A
field.
sack for Ellis.
Right between the corner and the safety for completion.
Alright, fourth down. They're going to punt it away.
Mormon is ready to punt this one away. Number 34 sets up to run back the punt. Hold on, we've got a penalty on the play. Let's check it out.
Holding on the offense. Number 52, first down.
Ball on the
Some
45-yard
punters declined it.
We turning it up. Come on. Let's run.
The home team with a four-man front.
It's showtime, baby.
To carry it, fakes the handoff. Gets the pass off.
Oh.
This pass is incomplete. The short pass falling to the turf, and it'll be second down.
Second and 10. Ball on the 45-yard line.
Stay soft, man. Under 10, 10.
The home team come out in a 4-3. Tosses it out to the left. Davis is there.
Got loose a little bit there.
At the 33. A nice run on that play.
His quick feet allow him to move out of the way just before the tackler can wrap him up.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
Watch this. Clear. Clear.
Moore, the deep back.
Hey, let's go. Watch the snap down. Nothing.
Hand it off to the back. Nelson is there on the stop.
Bring it back, fellas. Bring it back.
Penalty on the play.
On the
Let's check
offense.
it out.
Number 73.
The call is holding, and that'll push them back.
That's what happens when your feet and your body get going in the wrong position.
So now it's 1st and 15 after the penalty.
Larry Allen, huh?
Nickelback in this time. Number 8 with a man in motion. Hand it off. He loses it. The
Uh-oh.
home team are there to pick up.
Oh, they lost it.
Fumble was recovered by the defense.
Those eyes and reflexes are still working just fine.
Ball on their own 33.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
The visiting team with a 4-man front. A little misdirection.
So Lenny Moore is the starter.
There on the stop at the 36-yard line.
A tough running game will make your passing attack even more effective.
4-yard gain on the play.
That's interesting.
2nd and 7. Ball on the 36-yard line.
Play football. Let's go now. Watch screen.
The visiting team come out in a nickel package. Hand off to the tailback. Ellis is there for the tackle at the 42-yard line.
This is one of those games where you just keep running it at him. 4 yards here, 5 yards there, loosen him up, and then wham. You knock him out late in the game with that long touchdown run.
Ball on their own 42. The visiting team come out in a nickel package. Breaking through, keeps it. Number 57 is there on the stop at the 40-yard line. Big run there as the quarterback
Coach is
works
happy.
his way deep into the secondary.
I saw the guys covering the receivers, and I saw the guys rushing the quarterback. So where's the guy who's supposed to be spying the quarterback?
So they have 1st and 10 here. The visiting team line up in a 4-3. Gives the ball off. Green comes up to make the play at the 40.
This team's always trying to get a good mix of run and pass plays.
Ball on the 40-yard line.
Ball on the 40-yard line.
Watch out. Watch your man.
Johnson, the lone back. Going deep. What a catch.
Oh, wow.
Touchdown, home team.
I'll tell you, this is nice work by both the quarterback and the receiver in this play. Watch it here.
What a
He reads the
catch.
coverage, looks for the best option, and then throws it to him.
Unbelievable catch.
The point after is good.
They did everything they had to on that one. And the end result,
James Lofton with that catch. It's impressive.
TD on the board.
Mormon in to kick this one off.
Using their punter to kick off as well.
From the 2-yard line.
It's still early in the game, but you got to think the coach wants his guys to make a statement by scoring some points in this drive.
They'll start the drive at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10.
All right, so we'll see if Aikman can do anything about it here.
Go with a draw. Wilson is there for the tackle.
This is a spot where you want to show the defense that they have to respect the running game.
Ball on their own 31.
Ball on the 31-yard line.
Moore, the lone back. With a counter play. comes up to make the play. At the
Actually, really
35-yard
surprised
line,
Moore got to
pick
start
up
there. We
grounds.
got
They
Barry
convert it
Sanders,
first.
Ricky
Here's the
Waters,
thing.
and Freeman
They were
McNeil on
running
that team
right
as
ball
well.
off the blitz, but the back just
I
used
think
his
Barry
vision
Sanders
to
would be
look
starting.
ahead, to avoid him and
Ball
get
on the
past the marker.
35
Ball
yard
on their
line.
own 35. Moore in the backfield.
Uh-oh.
Dead ball.
Well, early movement there, 79.
Number 79.
Brown
Still first
moved
down.
a little early there.
Yeah, the rule for the
Larry
offensive
Brown.
line
Come
is
on now.
once you put your hand down, you can't move until the ball snaps.
Ball on the
So after the
30-yard
penalty, it's
line.
now 1st and 15. The home team come out in a nickel package. Stepping up, going long to the
No, going deep.
in and
No, he
out of
dropped
his
it.
hands.
I'll tell you, that was a tough one. When you're playing in these types of
Pardon me.
conditions, even the easy passes can be hard to hang on to.
2nd and 15. Ball on the 30-yard line.
All on us, y'all.
Got a couple downs to get it, though.
Pressure coming. He gets
Yeah,
it.
it's
Pulls him down
not
from
good.
behind.
He knows exactly how to take advantage of his personnel. He always puts them in position to make big plays out there, whether it's rushing the quarterback or playing in pass coverage downfield.
3rd
Ball
and
on their
long.
own 26.
Ball on the 26-yard line.
Keep it underneath.
The home team come out in a dime package. Drops back. Gets the pass off. This one falls incomplete. The defense was coming
Wow, that
after
looked
him
like
on that.
PI, didn't it?
He knew he didn't have much time, and he decided to get rid of the ball quickly on that one.
Roby comes into the game for the punt. Johnson is the deep return man. From the 23-yard line, slips the tackle.
51-yard punt. Returned.
Ball on their own
Takeover at the
27.
27-yard line. 1st and 10.
The visiting team line up in a 4-3. Graham sends a man in motion. Hand it off to the back. Wesley is there on the
Johnson
stop
on the run.
at the 33-yard
Gain of
line.
6
So
on
after
the
that
play.
run, we can see how the two main threats on the ground have fared so far. Ball on their own 33.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
Let's go, boy. Hey, let's go.
Johnson is the deep back. With the pass, he finds his man. They don't have to go deep to pick up first down.
Yeah, and this quarterback makes his living with these kind of passes. He'll dink and dunk you all the way down to the end zone.
Ball
1st
on their
and
own
10.
39.
Ball on the 39-yard line.
One back. You can't stop me. It's
The
all
visiting
down,
team
baby.
with a
Left,
four-man
right,
front.
man. Blue down, blue down. Left, left.
You give it to the halfback. Wilkinson is there on the
Johnson
stop
on the
at
run.
the 40.
1 yard
Right now, they
gain
need
on
to
the
keep
play.
going at the defense with a run. Sooner or later, they'll be able to break one for a big gain.
Ball on their own 40.
Ball on the 40-yard line.
Not today. You gotta have it, D.
The visiting team come out in a dime package. Gets the pass off. This pass
Ooh,
is
a little off the mark there.
Was the intended receiver on that
the
play.
intended receiver on the play. Third and 9. Ball on the 40-yard line.
It's on. Yeah, you see me. All right, now.
The visiting team come out in a dime package. Number 82, the man in motion.
Steven Jackson in the game.
Gets rid of it. He finds his man.
Well, that's going nowhere.
Comes up to make the play at the 42-yard line.
That play won't help their third down conversion percentage today. I wonder what the receiver was thinking, running a route that wasn't going to put him past the first down marker anyway.
Number 34 is back to receive this kick. Won't take a chance trying to return this one.
It's still very early, but this is one of those
Hmm,
spots
long
where
way to
you
go
wanna be
if
able
they want to
respond
get some
and
points
put the
here.
ball in the end zone.
Pardon me.
Ball
They'll
at their
take
own
over
10.
at the 10-yard line. 1st and 10.
Here we come. Hold the look.
Using split backs. Pass play here on first down. With the pass, Flips the tackle. And this pass is completed. They get first down yardage on that hookup.
17-yard gain on the play.
Gained a little bit there.
Ball on their own
1st and 10.
28.
Ball on the 28-yard line.
The home team line up in a 4-3. Goes to the ground.
What in the world was that?
It's second down and 7 to go.
Ball on the 31-yard line.
Going to the right. Jackson comes up to make the play at the 35.
Watch this. When you talk about not giving up on a play, having a motor that's always running, this is it right here. He gets a good shot at him and misses, but he comes back and he still ends up making the tackle.
Everything you got. Keep the throttle down. Under 10. Come on.
Number 8 sends a man in motion. It's the toss to the right. Running the ball,
No, gave him a little room there.
He's there for the tackle at the 47. Blips and it backfire.
Yeah, that's a chance you take. You're hoping to get some penetration and hit him in the backfield. But if you miss, there isn't a lot of help at the next level to keep him from picking up the first down.
Into one. Got a little defense going this game. So that's evening things out a little bit. Had a pretty high scores the first two games. Last game was a little bit of a defensive game. And this one's following suit with that one so far.
The home team line up in a 4-3. Pressure, throwing. The wide receiver has it. Jackson is there on the stop.
Completion, but not for much.
Conway didn't have much room to do anything with that one.
Yeah, they had the coverage and they made the sure play instead of trying something fancy, like going for the pick.
Ball at about midfield.
Ball on the 49-yard line.
The home team with a 4-man front from the ground. Bernard
Oh, a little sneaky give to Peyton Hillis there.
45.
Now they got to keep going at it. They can get that defense
Decent
fired
gain.
on its heels.
Terrible.
These games will get longer
Makes
and
third
better
down
as the
manageable
game goes
anyway.
on.
Looking for a third down conversion here. They have to get it to the 43.
45-yard line.
The home team line up in a 4-3.
Oh,
Swilling is there
nope.
on the stop at the 46.
1-yard loss on the play.
I don't know about that call. I would have thought you'd want to line up an eye or something, and if you're going to hand it off and use your fullback as the lead there, but
This will be his second punt of the game. Fair
that's
catch
going to be
called for.
touchback.
Let's go. Watch the snap down. Danny.
Johnson, the lone setback.
Let's go. Be good.
With a counter play. Number 57 is there for the tackle at the 24-yard line. And now our viewers can see how successful each team's main running threat has been today.
2nd and 6. Ball on the 24-yard line.
Yes, on. Let's go, D.
The visiting team come out in a nickel package.
Let's go.
Hand off to the tailback.
Just feeding Johnson.
The 40.
Uh-oh.
Midfield. The 40.
Uh-oh.
The 30. Number
Oh, he
30
caught him. Wow.
the play at the 21-yard line.
I'll tell you, this is pure speed. Look at the acceleration once he gets outside. I don't know how they got him, but it saved a touchdown.
Wow. Defense gave up a little bit there, didn't they?
Under 10.
Now Steven Jackson in, giving Larry Johnson a breather.
Hand it off to the back. Nice play fake.
Fakes it to him.
Gets rid of it.
Looking end zone.
Jumps and makes the catch. Touchdown. Home team. Graham finds the weakness in the defense and makes them pay.
Now they go up 2 touchdowns at home.
Conversing with his coaches upstairs, he decides to
Oh.
challenge this one.
And I think that's the right thing to
Spot on
do.
the ball
And
has
what
been
they'll look at
challenged.
here is exactly where the ball was when it
Well,
went down.
Yeah, they're thinking the ref was going to give him that left foot spot when they were thinking it should have been a right foot spot.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. The ball will be placed at the dead ball spot.
And the official was unable to see anything to change his mind, so the call stands.
But they
say
took
that'd
the
be a
time to
touchdown,
make sure.
not a spot, right? Yeah.
Brown comes in for the extra point. The extra point attempt is good. Excellent possession there, John, capped off by the touchdown. And right now they've given themselves a little room for error.
They're moving the ball out there pretty easily. Every time I see these guys play, I'm very impressed by the players they have, especially on offense. But the thing that impresses me most is the coaching staff. They're always very well prepared. They do a good job of calling plays, and they're plays that are designed to take advantage of the other team's weaknesses.
Mormon is back and ready to put this one in the air. Nice kick.
Both teams using the punter for kickoffs.
Now you start to look around and you figure, who are the go-to guys? The guys who can respond and get this game close again.
They'll start the drive at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10.
We're coming to red.
Jones, the man in motion.
Stay soft, man. Careful. Turn it up now.
Receives the handoff. He's brought down behind the line for a short loss. No gain on that play as the linebacker slipped in almost unnoticed.
Yeah, he did a great job getting in there. He was looking for the run before they even snapped the ball.
Ball on their own 24.
Ball on the 24-yard line.
Deuce it. Let's go.
Moore, the lone setback, tosses it out to the left. Browner
Hmm.
is there for the tackle.
Thought he was going to have a pretty decent lane there.
Really didn't get much.
Just
It's
went
all
away
about
quick.
Making the defense respect the fact that you're willing to run.
Ball on their own
3rd and
25.
10. Ball on the 25-yard line.
Ain't no thing. Hey, watch that screen. Keep the throttle
Dropping
down.
back. Throwing. This one falls incomplete. And they'll have a 4th down now after no connection on that short pass.
Wow. Grizzlies having a tough time moving the ball.
Very solid defensive effort to force the 3 and out. They'll spot this one where it went out. Ball on their own 30.
Ball on the 30-yard line.
Keep moving.
The visiting team come out in a nickel package. It's the toss to the left. The 40.
Oh, we got blocks.
A lot of room in front. The 40, the 30, the 20, the 10.
Gone again.
The goal line for the
Wow.
He gets a great block right here. The spring
We're gonna make it
touchdown.
21 to nothing.
Defender right out of his shoes that time.
Wow. So they're going to need a score before halftime to get back in this game.
The point after is good. And John,
A little momentum going to halftime if they can get it.
capability, that's exactly what we were talking about. One play, one touchdown.
I'm not surprised at all by that play. You got a chance to stick it to the other team, you're going to stick it to them. And that's what they did on that play.
Mormon looks like he's just about ready to kick this one off. Nice distance. From the 3-yard line.
Oh, I thought he had a chance maybe there.
Need to rebound quickly as they start this drive at the 34-yard line.
34-yard line.
Watch the snap now.
The home team with a four-man front. Number 87, the motion man.
Do some.
Passes it out to the left. Swilling is there on the
Four
stop
on the
at
carry.
the 31-yard
Loss of
line.
four
Good
on
job
the play.
knifing in there to bring him down.
He brings a lot of things to the table, but the thing I like the most is how prepared he always is. I mean, he can run and he can
Second and
tackle,
13.
and he watches so
Ball on
much
the
tape
31
that he
yard
actually anticipates what the offense is going to run before they call the play.
The home team. comes up with victory.
That didn't go well.
Positioning led to that stop behind the line of scrimmage.
And he'll do that kind of thing. He's one of the smartest players at defensive end. He always seems to be in position. He uses his
Third
hands
and
well,
ball.
and he has those
Ball on
long
the
arms.
26-yard
And that really
line.
helps him shed blockers.
We're talking about bring it. Watch the ball.
The
be
home
smart.
team.
There's
Come out of the
Sanders.
dime package. Steps up, gets rid of it. Right on target.
Not enough.
You know, when it's third and so many yards, why the
Wow.
heck would you run a pass pattern that was short in the first? Makes no sense to me.
Nothing happening for the offense there, forced into a 3-and-out. And he signals for the fair catch. First and 10.
Ball on the 20-yard line.
All day, baby. Come on. Don't stop that motor.
The visiting team with a four-man front. With the throw, the wide receiver has it. Number 34 comes up to make the play at the 45-yard line. A powerful arm brings them a first down this time.
Yeah, and you talk about putting some heat on your throws. This guy really let it go.
Let's go. All right, here we go. Hey, let's go. Careful.
Dropping back to pass on first down. Closing in, throwing. He hits his receiver.
Hooper
That powerful
makes the
arm
reception.
brings them a first down this time.
Not only did the quarterback show off his strong
Wow.
arm, but the
Grizzlies
receiver
are
just
struggling.
makes an amazingly soft hand. A great throw.
Nothing
with
going on
better
offense, and
catch.
they can't stop him on defense.
Way to pick up first down.
Ball on the 36-yard line.
One back. One of us gonna make a play.
The visiting team come out in a 4-3. Hand it off. Number 57 is there on the stop at the 35. He tried to pick his way through the middle, but there was no room.
Yeah, he was looking for a hole or a gap, but the defensive line sealed everything up.
2-minute warning coming up.
Ball on the 35-yard line.
Nothing. They don't get nothing.
Looking upfield. They'll spot this one at the
Johnson on the
33-yard
run.
line. He makes his
3-yard
fifth stop of the
gain
game
on
on
the
that play.
Mixing runs with passes keeps the defense honest.
It's third
and
down,
7.
7 to go.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
Watch out.
Big man gets in there for a big sack.
He's got a great combination of size and move. Now, he won't be winning any races, but he's good at getting after the quarterback. And let me tell you, you never want him to be the guy falling on top of you.
Gonna try a field goal here. Interesting.
Brown will have to get a lot of leg into this one.
Oh no.
Hits the
Is no
upright.
good.
No good.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the Grizzly needed that. Giving up more points before halftime would have been
A missed field goal. They'll set up
tough
shop.
to overcome in the second half. They really need to get down the field here, get some points. They haven't been able to move the ball at all the first half.
In the zone, there's going to be gaps between the defense.
That's not going to do much
That's
good
where
with
the
that
ball
either.
has to go. But that time it wasn't there. Here's a no huddle. It's a good way to keep the defense off balance.
Throwing.
Oh, triple coverage.
He
Yep,
has the
nobody
hands
came
to
down
make
with it.
catches on the toughest passes.
On the
I'm a little little surprised to see him drop that one.
Third and 10. Ball on the 42-yard line.
Hey, D-line, watch the screen. Keep moving.
Moore, the lone back.
3rd and 10. Got a ways to go here.
Up, throws it.
Got it away.
Swilling is
And he
able
caught
to
it.
Stop at the 29-yard line.
Gain
I
of
like to hurry up
28
here
on
to
the
change
play.
your pace.
In
and
field
avoid
goal
making
range now if
defense
they can
uncomfortable.
hang on to the ball.
Going to the air on first down. Gets rid of it.
Could get more possibly. Ooh, that was
his intended
that
target.
looked out of bounds. Not even a chance to catch it.
Receiver on the play. Second and 10. Ball on the 29-yard line.
Let's go now. He's the back.
Number 8 using split backs. Number 87 in motion. Hand it off. Davis is there on the
It's
stop.
going nowhere there.
29.
You know what this does? It keeps one defense on the field, and it doesn't let them get the right personnel in there sometimes.
Drops back. Gets rid of it.
Uh,
Barely got that one off.
I don't know who that was supposed to be to, but that wasn't close to anybody.
Quarterback adjust his throw, and it
Gonna
messed
have to
up
take
his
the
rhythm.
3, I think.
Dawson will come in looking to try the field goal. And the field goal
Good.
attempt is good. Just inside the
Got
upright.
something anyway.
One of those guys who really works hard at what he does, and you can see that hard work paying off when you make a kick like this one.
Let's see if they can keep Kansas from scoring here towards the end of the half. Maybe get a turnover and score themselves. Perhaps get back in this game.
And he got all of that one. A great kick.
Struggled on both sides of the ball so far.
By Johnson.
They've really taken control of this thing as they head back out on offense.
On the return.
The defensive coordinator was going over some things with his guys on the sideline. Maybe they made some adjustments that are going to slow them down.
First and 10. Ball on the 27-yard line.
We coming to wreck. Nothing. They don't get nothing.
Graham from the shotgun.
No stop that motor.
Rolls right. Throwing. And
Oh!
intercepted.
There you go. Turnover I spoke of.
Where to be, and that time he's rewarded with the
That's what they
interception.
needed.
And he does an excellent job of reading where the quarterback wants to throw the ball. He'll anticipate the throw and then make the perfect play on it.
The offense gets ready to go following the interception.
Should already be in field goal range as well.
The home team with a four-man front. He hands it off. Brown comes up to make the play.
Nobody blocked him, did they?
Now they're in the range for their kicker, but they should still be trying to move the ball quickly to get inside the red zone. If they can do that, then we might see them slow it down a little.
Watch this. Dynamite. Get it started. Watch your man. Let's do our thing. Let's do our thing. We're talking about
He'll bring the blitz.
And he ran right into it.
Getting in there to drag the quarterback down, and he picks up the sack.
And he'll make 2 or 3 plays like that in just about every game. What they're doing here is keeping the defense from huddling up. It keeps the same defense on the field.
Dropping back.
Gotta throw it.
For the long pass. He makes
Got
the
it.
catch. Nelson
Well, that's
is
gonna be a
there
first down.
at the 8-yard line. They'll call this play at the line of scrimmage.
He may spike it here for. Well, no, he's gonna go shotgun.
Under pressure, he goes down.
Oy.
Number 8 gets slammed to the turf. And again, they get to the quarterback. The 4th time he's gone down. The coach is having them hurry it up. The visiting team call a timeout. They have none remaining.
Gonna take the field goal here. They're gonna try to. They don't have any timeouts left, so if they run a play, yeah, they're not going to. So if they run a play, it'd have to be a pass, but they're gonna play it safe.
So this field goal attempt will be from about 33 yards away. The veteran kicks it through.
Not every drive is going to get you a touchdown, so getting 3 was big. Now they got to go over what worked and what didn't, so the next drive
It's helpful.
will get him a TD.
See if that gives them any momentum for the second half. Welcome into the viewer.
All right, Johnson, the last time
Feel free to ask questions or comment or whatever.
picked up a takeaway. And this should be the last play of the
Ball
half.
on the 20-yard line.
The visiting team come out in a 4-3 on the carry. Ellis is there on the stop at the 23-yard line.
That should get us to halftime.
The end of the second quarter with the score, the home team ahead of the
Hey, Dave.
21.
At the end of the first half, the score is the home team.
As we take a look at his success
Run,
returning
the away
kicks,
team.
we get ready for the kickoff. Mormon will be kicking off. From the 6-yard line.
This team is going to have to focus
Decent
a lot
return.
more than they did in the first half if they're going to come back.
First and 10.
Ball on the 32-yard line.
They're having no success running on first down.
Which is one reason why they find themselves on the short end of the stick right now. It's hard to have consistent success without balance.
Little misdirection. Swilling comes up to make the play. And
Well, that wasn't any better, was it?
He was looking for a place to run, but all those places were filled up with guys waiting to tackle him.
ball on their own 30.
There's no, they're not based on real teams. They're, what I did was, I went to a football database site that, calculates, it has a field that calculates the approximate value of a player to their team. And I did career numbers for all the players and the top, however many I needed for all 32 teams. I took those people. So these are, that's why I call it the Global Legends Football League. Some of them could be current players, but most of them are older players, such as Aikman, as you see. I'm assuming that's how you recognize Cowboys. So no, they're not based on any actual team. They're all-stars per se. So I changed the height, weight, numbers, and all that of every player.
Johnson looks like he's ready for the return.
Dawson of Browns fame, that's correct.
He signals for a fair catch.
Fair catch made at the 19.
Yep, if you check the VOD out later, at the beginning, week one, the beginning of every game, I go over all the rosters of who's with that team.
Ball on their own 19.
Ball on
Um,
the 19-yard line.
So that might give, and this is the fourth game, I think, of the week, of week one, so
He's there on the
there's a couple other ones too.
1-yard line.
The defense held their positions and didn't let them get very far.
Yeah, it took a while to
21.
put everything in, but I had already made the uniforms and the logos and all that stuff prior to doing all that.
Gets the pass off.
That's the part I really like, that part, making the
28-yard
uniforms and picking the colors and all that stuff.
line has 6.
I go online every now and then and look for
Mark of a solid defense.
interesting images
Close in on you
and try to use those as logos.
Their own 28. The visiting
Yeah, pretty much. I did, once I got all the players and all their ratings, I went to, I got the list from that database site, but I went to Muthead and used the Madden rosters. There's a site that has a lot of them archived. I used all that to get the ratings for all the players, so I had to put all that together as well, and then enter all that in the game as well as the numbers, heights, and weights. I didn't change the player models, just because that would be, one, too tedious, and two, might bring up some, hey, you're using my likeness kind of things going on, so I didn't want that.
second down and
Yeah, autogram, yep, sure is. And that's Steven Jackson. He's actually the backup. Larry Johnson is their starter. He might have been tired, so they swapped him out.
Offensive line did a pretty good job picking up the blitz, giving him the extra
Alex
time
Mack
to
right
find
there,
the hole.
55.
Ball at midfield. 49-yard line.
What's the hard count? Come on. Clear.
Steven Jackson's still in.
Defense, get ready. Yeah, coach. Hold the look.
But yeah, after I got the ratings all done and everything, they were all randomized to be on whatever team they ended up being on.
Ball on the 48-yard line.
Ball on the 48-yard line.
All on us, y'all. Get me going.
Only one man back. Dropping back. Deep throw. On the sideline and out of bounds.
They like to throw it to the sidelines in situations.
Well, there should be a plethora of well-known players in here because, like I say, it's the top value to their team players were all brought in from that database site, so should recognize quite a few, I would think.
Come out in a nickel package. And he gets the delayed handoff. Ellis drags the
I know there's some historic Browns quarterbacks in here, at least one,
but come up well short.
might be two.
A fine stop by the defensive end.
Trying to see if I can find them real quick.
Is ready to punt this one away. Number 34. Back to return.
Yeah, Brian Sipe is on Phoenix. They have not played in week 1 yet.
Fair catch.
And I thought there was another
If they
one.
want to make this a game, they have to buckle down, avoid mistakes, and work hard to dig themselves out of this hole.
Ball on their own 20.
Ball on the 20-yard line.
Lucky, lucky.
Moore in the backfield.
Watch the man. Careful.
Hand it off to the back. They'll go with a play fake. Long throw. This pass is incomplete. You can see what great arm strength he has, but that was out of reach for the receiver.
And he does overshoot, like that time. But other times, he hits them right in stride.
Yeah, Brian Sipe's definitely in here. Yeah, Bernie Kosar is on the San Jose Quake. They did already play. And actually, Donovan McNabb is the starter for that team. So Brian is I believe he's the number 2.
With the pass,
But they played already in week 1.
run that one in there for a big game.
I believe they did not
Hey, this guy's
win.
something special.
It was a good game, close till the end.
The ball, that the defense doesn't have any time to react to the
I think, as
throw.
a matter of fact, that might be the one that went to overtime.
38-yard line.
Keep it up. Stay both now. Will. Check it.
And then Brian, I didn't see if he was the starter or not.
Breaking free. Dells is there for the tackle. That's a 12-yard gain.
12 on the play.
He's on Phoenix with Bobby Lane and Doug Flutie, so he might also be a number 2 behind Bobby, but I'm not positive of that. Yeah, letting AI play. I'm more of a statistics. I mean, I play stuff too, but I'm more a numbers guy, so I'd rather not
Gets the pass off, all loose. The home
influence anything if I can keep from it.
breaking through. The 30,
That was not what they needed.
the 10, 5, and they're in. Touchdown.
Plus, having this be all All-Stars, I kind of wanted to see how it fared out without my interference.
So with the play in question,
But again, this is game 4 of week 1, so long way to go.
Ball reversed.
I thought he was down and then the ball popped loose, but it's difficult to tell from this angle.
And mostly the official is seeing what
That's
we're seeing.
close.
So it's inconclusive. The call will stand since he needs to be 100% sure to overturn a call.
That's close. Hard to tell from that angle, really.
No fumble occurred.
Yeah, Travis was in here last night. I was during one of the games we were talking about it.
So the
He
guy
likes
looks
it,
a lot smarter after getting the play
so he
reversed.
may be on watching more often now too. He's got to work all day today. He doesn't get off till 7 p.m. So I may not see him today, but he kind of said that's the kind of thing he does. There's Barry Sanders, best run they've had all day probably.
That's a 31-yard
Kind of kept Barney
change of
kind of
Well, I
kept
talked to
Barney
Coach the other day, and he said he wanted
cooped
to
up.
emphasize the run a little more. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
Ball on the 31-yard line.
Keep Barry Sanders in.
He hands it off.
He gets it again.
Number 92 is
Decent.
there for the tackle at the 26-yard line.
The best backs in the league average 4 to 5 yards a carry. But there are a lot of things that go into a successful running game. You got to have good play calling, good blocking up front, and a back that can take advantage.
Well, they are moving the ball a little bit, and they haven't given up any points yet in the second half.
Line up in a 4-3. Davis is there on the stop at the 23-yard line. Sanders manages
Feeding Barry a little bit here, aren't they?
third down here, and they have to get to the 21-yard line for a new first down. Here they come. Pressure
Mm.
coming. Number 8 gets dropped for a sack.
Wow.
Great day for this defense. 5 sacks and counting.
Man, they're struggling. Crazy. Gonna try to take points again. Certainly in range anyway.
6-yard field goal. The veteran connecting for the field goal.
Yeah, that's just quarterbacks from the Browns. There's probably some other wide receivers and things sprinkled in there.
When you make a kick like this one.
I can't guarantee it, but Webster Slaughter might be in there somewhere. If you know that name, I'm sure you do. If you're a Browns fan. I was trying to think of some other ones, but there's so many players. I can't
This one is
really
fielded.
think of any.
The defense did a very good job
I think he may be in there somewhere.
forcing a punt. It's first and 10.
At the 20-yard line. First and 10.
Slaughter, yeah. I love the name too. I was actually a fan. My dad and I were always Chiefs fans, but when they had Kozar and Slaughter and all that, we kind of rooted for them a little bit. But as long as they weren't against our Chiefs, but
Is there on the stop at the 21-yard line. Johnson battles his way forward.
I believe that was that not the team that got to the AFC Championship game and lost to Denver? Because I guarantee if that's the one, we were rooting against the Broncos, no matter what.
Johnson, the lone setback. Oof, he never saw that one coming. Well, John, they kept it in the quarterback's hands.
And they
I
didn't
think
get
it was
anywhere.
that team.
Quarterback
Pretty
got
sure.
knocked around, but that was about it.
Third and 9. Ball on the 21-yard line.
Jackson lines up behind his fullback in the eye. Throws it, and it's complete. Spins away from it.
That was a good block.
Is there for the tackle.
Well, the She-Devils are moving the ball again. That's not good for the Grizzlies.
Receiver as he reads the man coverage.
Sorry, I'm kind of partial to the Grizzlies because I used a version of their logo that I was able to create in Super Mega Baseball 2 as my controlled team. So I'm a little biased for them.
Leslie comes up to make the play. At the
Plus their roster's strong, so I'm kind of surprised they're struggling so bad. Can't afford injuries already, not stopping them.
It's second down and 3 to go.
Ball on the 38-yard line.
The visiting team come out in a 4-3. Graham with a man in motion. Hand off to the tailback. Number 57 is there on the stop at the 37. Good play by the linebacker to get into the backfield and stop the play for no gain.
I'll tell you, that comes from watching a lot of film and knowing the tendencies of the opponent. That was a heck of a play.
Ball on the 37-yard line.
The visiting team.
Yeah, I thought that was the
Wilkinson
roster I remembered.
at the 44. So we've reached the end of the third.
I wish they would have snatched Denver. I hated Denver. I still hate Denver, but I hated them even more when they had Elway.
The home team are up by 2 scores and start this
Wasn't a big fan of them when they had Peyton Manning either, but Elway was just a pain in the Chiefs' ass. I couldn't stand him.
The visiting team come out in a 4-3. Throws it. He went up there and he got it. And
Wow.
a
Oh,
fumble. The visiting team.
hey, they got a turnover.
So they lose possession after fumbling it
That's
away.
what they need. Got to keep the She-Devils off the board if they're going to catch them.
Ball on their own 33.
Ball on the 33-yard line.
Let's go. Check it. Defense, get ready.
The home team line up in a 4-3.
Yeah.
Hand it off to the back. Wilson is there for the tackle.
Well, I mean, they had Davis though, didn't they? Or is that before Davis? Actually, Davis came in the 90s, I think. My bad.
2nd and 2. Ball on the 41-yard line.
Be careful. What's the hard count?
The home team with a 4-man front with the pass. Jumping and has it.
This is what they have to do. Keep making completions down the field and move the chain. Watch this one. He knows he's got to get the...
And then I had a couple of issues, like Dennis Pitta in real life was 88, but the starting tight end, or at least the one that was on my list first, so I figured that he would be the starter, was
Call. They'll go with a play fake. Sack.
Keith Jackson, who was also 88, so had to move Dennis. And then there's some limitations of the game, like Marv Cook, their third tight end's 47. Well, they won't let you do 47 unless you're a defensive back or a running back. So I had to ended up moving him to something else as well.
Visiting team line up in a 5-receiver set this time.
Yeah, Mackenbiner, Ernest Biner. He might be in here somewhere as well.
Passing attacks in the NFL rely on timing.
I don't know if both of them are or not. They might both be in
Never
here.
Give him a chance to get into a rhythm, and you force him to throw the ball before he wants to.
Ball on the 46-yard line.
Watch underneath. Here we go. Watch out.
Number 8 spreads them out.
Go along. Go back.
Throwing. He finds his man. Harper takes him down before he can get the first. Johnson won't get enough for the first.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who Denver had. I was thinking Terrell Davis, but I don't think he came until the 90s.
It's 4th down and just about a yard to go.
I can't for the life of me think of who they had at running back.
Nothing doing. He stops short. They fail
Wow.
to get first and turn it over on downs.
At this point in the game, they need a big play. Sometimes high risk.
Get a turnover, can't do anything with it.
Might try a different play next time.
They'll start the drive at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10.
I'll tell you what, they could end up being the only team so far that hasn't scored a touchdown.
Fox makes the stop at the 46-yard line. Johnson gets the call on the counter. Short gain about a yard. Ball on their own 46.
Ball on the 46-yard line.
Yeah, they had players, no doubt about that.
Only one man in the backfield. Hands it off. They'll spot this
Ooh.
one at the 44.
Stuffed it.
Tackling machine out there. He now has 9. They wanted to pound it through the middle, but they got pounded for a loss.
I'll tell you, that was a perfect time for these guys to call a blitz. They got
Speaking
in
of the
there, closed
Broncos,
gap,
Mecklenburg on the
brought down
tackle.
back for a loss.
The visiting team come out in a 4-3. Receives the handoff.
And he gets another one.
Comes up to
That's
the
10 tackles for him.
at the 50. Well, that didn't cut it. Now they're looking at 4th down.
I think you get 10 tackles from your middle linebacker, you're stopping the offense pretty well, you'd think.
This is the luxury of being ahead.
But they're still down 12.
Mormon comes into the game for the punt. Number 34.
Right.
lines up for the
Well,
punt
I don't know.
return.
They got Chubb. It could happen. They get a decent quarterback.
He's waving for the fair catch.
I thought I heard they brought somebody in. I don't remember who it was
This is
though.
where all your guys on offense have to step up and make plays. Time's running out, and they're facing.
Well, they got Mayfield. They're
So this is
I
where
mean, I guess he could.
execute.
He's still is it Mayfield?
1st and 10. Ball on the 5-yard
I think it's Baker, right? Baker Mayfield.
The home team come out on a nickel back. Hand off to the tailback.
Oh, Barry's loose.
There on the stop at the 16.
Can't break the last one though.
Keep running the ball in the fourth quarter as you're playing catch up. That's an advantage
Yeah,
you have
that's.
over the defense.
I don't know
You gotta
about that.
keep 'em off balance.
I'm not a Keenum fan.
Watch the snap now. Let's go.
I think Mayfield's gonna be good. He just needs a little time.
Let's go, boys.
Cross play to the right.
Well, and I mean, not only that, they gotta. Oh no, he tripped.
And he gets stuffed on that ball.
I think they gotta
Offense is
get
trying anything to find
the
a
right
way to
pieces
move the
around
ball
him as
downfield.
well.
Maybe they
Kind of
thought
like
they
what
could
happened
get
with
a break
Patrick
for a big gain or something.
with Kansas City. They had to get a couple more pieces and give him a little time, and then they were fine.
Come out in a nickel package. He's going to run it. Bernard is there for the tackle at the 24.
But I think Mayfield's gonna be good.
Nobody open, so he takes off and picks up some nice.
But I mean, you always think that.
Athletic play right there. They
You
gave
just
him
don't
a
know
good
what they're
gap.
gonna do. I
He
mean,
turned it into a big gap and some big yardage.
Ball on the
could like turn into a Jay Cutler who's got all the talent in the world and just chooses not to use it because he's getting paid.
so far. He was tipped.
Great position and great reaction made that play happen.
Nelson was there on the coverage.
I mean, the only time that guy did anything was when it was a contract year and he needed to play well to get paid. Other than that, he played like he didn't give a shit. Hated that guy.
Roby will come in now to punt it away. Johnson into return.
My wife's a Bears fan. She was
And he waves for the fair catch.
somewhat excited when the Bears got him and he didn't do shit. It wasn't like he didn't have any talent around him. Like at that time, he had Brandon Marshall and somebody else that was pretty good. Jeffries, Alshon Jeffries.
He tucks it away. Number 57.
A bunch of talent. Did nothing with it.
At the 45-yard line.
He's showing a good burst and explosiveness on just about every carry. He's one of those guys who can break one for a touchdown anytime he touches the ball.
Second and about 1.
And they still had Matt Forte at that time, too. They still didn't do anything with it.
They come out in a dime package.
Watch your eyes. From the start.
Crosses it left. Tillman got very good penetration there.
Uh-oh, Alex Mack is hurt. Offensive lineman down.
Ball on their own 42.
Ball on the 42-yard line.
That'll bring in Duffy.
Everything you got. Let's do our
The
thing.
visiting team come out in a 4-3.
Showtime, baby.
Receives the handoff. Number 57
Mm.
is there on the
Gave up
stop
the first
at
down.
the 46. Excellent run for a first down.
They brought some extra heat with a blitz, but he was able to find some room and pick up the first.
Townsend letting the refs know that he's getting held.
Ball on the 46-yard line.
The visiting team with a 4-man front. Number 81, the motion man. Gives the ball off. Wilkinson is there for the tackle at the 46-yard line. Defense looking for the run, and the runner just about got back.
I love Marty Schottenheimer as the Chiefs coach. I mean, there was no doubt we were getting to the playoffs, and we did. Just couldn't win any playoff games, similar to when he was with Cleveland.
Line up in a 4-3. Graham sends a man in motion. What play? Green is there on the stop at the 48-yard line. They don't deviate at all from the last play call as they keep it on the ground. Almost at the 2-minute mark now.
You know who actually Marty Schottenheimer remind me? Do you watch Sheldon at all? Big Bang Theory, the spinoff where he's as a little kid. You watch that at all?
And we've reached the 2-minute mark.
Ball on the 48-yard line.
Not today.
Yeah, the Connie, the grandma, her boyfriend now that owns the sporting goods store. He played a coach in Coach, the TV show way back when,
Him down before he can reach
and that's who Marty Schottenheimer. He reminds me of that character when he was the coach in that other show.
They need someone to step up and get this team going.
Hayden Fry, I believe, was his name in that show.
They're going to bring in the punt team for the 5th time so far.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just called Coach. Was the name of the show. That was back in the. I think that was back in the 80s as well, maybe 90s.
If they want a shot in this one, they got to put something together on this drive. There just isn't much
But he was
time left.
the in that show. He was the coach of Minnesota State, which doesn't exist. Screaming Eagles.
Ball on their own 20. Ball on the 20-yard
But anyway, that's who that Schottenheimer reminds me of. Is that guy? He plays that character.
Pump fakes. Pressure with the pass. And he dropped it. No choice.
Oh my gosh.
Keep throwing.
Yeah, they do. Running the ball.
Grizzlies got nothing going today. I mean, even if they get something going here and score, they're still down.
20-yard line.
Even if they go for 2, they'd be down 4. So
Number 8.
looks like it's over.
Keeps it. He has room.
Oh no! Oh no!
Unbelievable. What a time to cough up the ball.
Yeah, yep, I do. And then I used a utility to turn it into a franchise, so
Ball on the 26 yard
it's all tracked in the game stats-wise. I don't have to do anything manually.
They line up in the I formation. He tucks it away. Tillman is there for the tackle at the 24.
So basically what the utility allows me to do is to pick a team in the franchise that's a normal team like San Diego or Kansas City or Oakland or Denver and swap the team out with them. And then when you create the franchise,
The visiting line up in a 4-3.
you depending on what team you swapped it out with is what coach they get. So
Hand off to the tailback. Number 57 is there on the stop at the 22-yard line. Johnson manages a yard or 2 on the delay play.
What?
If they can get it to the 16-yard line, that would be a first down. The visiting team come out in a nickel package. They give it to the halfback. Harper is there for the tackle. At the
16 is too
Nothing
much.
doing on that running play, so they'll probably send in the kicker.
I think so. When you've got the lead, you don't have to try anything fancy. You just tack on the 3 and put the game in your defense's hands.
Brown will try to come through with the field.
Yeah,
goal here.
I thought about that, but I figured now's a good time to be doing it since sports aren't going on. But then it's, you know, you're assuming I'll get to it that often, which I probably won't. I still have to work. I get to do it from home, but I still have 8 hours a day, so I get a few in on the weekends, and that's about it.
The home team now enjoy a 2-touchdown lead. Mormon looks like he's just about ready to kick this one off. Good distance. This one is handled by number 34. Takes this one back to the 23-yard line.
On the return.
Oh, sorry, She Devils got a field goal, it looks like. So yeah, the 16 hours a week, that's not going to happen. I don't have enough time to do that, but I do want to make them all VODs so that everybody can see them. I had started doing it before, but I didn't get too much of a reception without being on here, you know, to talk to and speak and all that, but well, I got a first down. Still not going to have enough time. Looks like they're going to be beaten. So yeah, I mean, I just jump on here and do a game whenever I have a chance. And we'll see how it ends up. Oh, he got away from the defense. That's still not going to be enough. There's 12 seconds left. But they finally got something. It's the first thing they've had go right all day. Looks like Fitzgerald got that. Make sure that's right. Yep, Larry. So able to get behind the defense finally. And they go for 2 to try to make it 7 points, but do not get it. Which, even if they'd have gotten it, I don't think it's going to help them enough. Hoping to get 1 or 2 more in today, but I'm getting PlayStation messages already about playing Fortnite, so I might be tied up. I'm not sure yet what's going to happen. Plus, I got to throw dinner in there somewhere. I thought about playing them while I'm working, but I wouldn't be able to be on here to commentate or anything. Well, I don't really commentate, but I wouldn't be on here to talk to, like you, for instance, this time. Or Travis, like last night or whatever, so. There's that piece, but it would at least get them on the site and the VOD, and I wouldn't have to be watching the whole game if I did it that way, but. So Kansas starts out 1-0 at home. Looks like the home teams are doing well so far. Uh-oh. Yeah, this not had that happen before. What's going on? There we go. That's weird. Alright, we'll end that and get it saved. And next we'll have the Pandas, the Aces at the Pandas. Go ahead and save that. And go ahead and exit out of that. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk at you later. We'll probably try to maybe get 1 more, maybe 2 today. Hopefully, if I have time. So hopefully, you guys can come back and check that out if I can get another one going today. Until then, we'll talk at you next time. Peace.